Somebody hit that live.
We good. We on.
Yes, sir. Hey, look who's here today, man. Look who's here, dog. The prodigal son is here, dog.
Who the fuck is that?
The prodigal son is here, yo.
He's back stateside.
The prodigal son
man.
is here. Shit.
What's up? What's up? What's up, fellas? How y'all feeling?
It's good, baby.
Good.
Yeah.
Good to see you, man. You doing all right?
I'm back on U.S. soil, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't have StreamYard in Fiji, huh?
Yeah.
Nah. Poor Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah, I can dig
The
it.
tour is over.
I can dig it. I can dig it.
Hey, usually it's Chuck that, Omahas and all that shit. And we usually save the Omahas.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Until the show.
Here we go.
Omaha.
And now it's time for a letter from Pain.
Yeah, man. So we all know it's coming up on election time, and I'm pretty sure most of us watched that debate the other night. So I'm gonna just reiterate what I'm sure 100% of Haitian people out there are thinking, and other immigrants, and that's dear Donald Trump, eat a dick. Like, how dare you accuse these people of eating dogs? Like, that's crazy. Like, first he called their country a shithole. Then he insults them and says they're kidnapping people's pets, eating cats and dogs. Like, he's a racist piece of shit. And you could see in that debate how much it was irritating him that Kamala Harris is the three things he can't stand. Someone smarter than him, someone black, and someone that's a woman. Donald Trump is a fucked up person. And he's going to get what he deserves in the end.
100%.
Yeah. So I was listening to that debate. And much like much of America, right? When he said that people are stealing pets, I said, wait a minute. Did I just hear that right? So you know how sometimes it'd be late at night. These debates be late at night for me, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, yo, dog, I must be tired. I couldn't have heard what he just said. I must be. And he doubled down on it a couple of minutes later. It's not like he said it and then let it go because, I shouldn't have said that. He doubled down. I said, God, that's the wildest shit I've ever heard in these debates. Stealing pets, bro.
And he's like, it's an accusation. There's no fact to it for him to back that shit up.
KJ, what's good, family? Appreciate the check-in. Yeah, man, we giving him a little bit too much airtime, but spot on letter from Pain though, because it was well needed.
We got to give these idiots the credit they deserve. To quote Charlemagne, man, he's a fucking jackass of epic proportions.
Epic, capital E.
I will say this before, again, we don't dwell too long on politics on our show, but I will say this. I think outside of even outside of the candidates, I think it's important to understand who you're taking political advice from, right? We live in a climate where influencers are tools of political gain. I would caution our community to not give a fuck about what an influencer, a former athlete, movie star, anybody says about their political views.
Singer, like, you know what I'm
saying? I don't give a fuck. Here's why, Chef. Here's why. Yeah. These motherfuckers are generally millionaires, right?
Sure, right.
Millionaires love Trump, right? Because millionaires live in a certain tax bracket that he is trying to benefit, right? So millionaires don't generally relate to the plight of middle America or even worse, lower America, right? Mm-hmm. So they don't relate to who we should be thinking about when it comes to politics. So again, just caution our community, be leery of who you're listening to when it comes to political advice. That's all.
Absolutely. And then you got to pay attention to who's supporting him too, because all of a sudden everybody loved Kate, especially white America, loved them some Caitlin Clark until she supported Taylor Swift supporting Kamala Harris. Pay attention to that. Like, that's some bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, but so in other news, because I definitely don't want to stay on politics too long, man. Like, it was a big firestorm this week. with the announcement of Kendrick Lamar as the halftime show entertainment.
Yeah.
And the Super Bowl this year, or excuse me, next year, is in New Orleans. It's been many times. It's been in New Orleans, so of course it was just a bunch of fake outrage, in my opinion, of what I call it.
100%.
Bunch of fake outrage. Because in 2013, it was in New Orleans and Beyonce performed. Now the pushback that I get is that, well, Rock Nation wasn't in charge then. Rock Nation wasn't in charge, and that's why this has happened. So I will just wrap it around the room to see, like, what do you guys think of, first of all, Kendrick Lamar being named as the entertainer, and then the whole pushback or fake outrage about Lil Wayne so deserving of this, and Jay's the worst person in the world because he picked Lil Wayne, when come to find out, he wasn't even the one that made the final decision. So I wrap it around the room. Capo, what do you think? Thoughts, opinions?
You know what's interesting? I do have, on the back end of this, I do want to know where the Super Bowl was last year. I don't remember. And I do want to know who performed the Super Bowl last year for halftime.
Was it Arizona last year?
And I think Rihanna.
Okay, let's not get lost there. I just want to know that.
I think it was Rihanna last year, and it was in like somewhere in Arizona, like as Payne said. And then, obviously 2 years ago,
hold up.
LA.
No, I think it was Usher last year. Rihanna year before.
Was it Usher?
Yeah, I think it was Usher.
Usher was most recent, and then Rihanna was year before.
I guess let me just say this. My thought is this initially. First, did Wayne drop a new album that I missed? Right? Has Wayne given us new music that's forced him to be back in the spotlight? Because I mean, listen, I'm all for him doing Carter 4 again. If you go off, like, I'm here for Carter, but this is 2024, right? So we're putting him on the Super Bowl stage from an album from 2008. Okay. Right now, I think hip hop has always wanted representation on these stages. Yeah. Right now, in this moment, Kendrick is at the forefront of hip hop, right? Whether you like him or not. And so I don't give a fuck. We could be playing in Nebraska for the Super Bowl, right? If you want hip hop representation, it should be Kendrick for what he did to Drake over the last year. Because I would have said Drake, but those guys are the forerunners. Hey man, I got no problem with it. I don't give a shit where we're playing, man. Especially if Wayne doesn't have something new out. Doesn't matter to me.
Right, Payne.
So it would have been dope to have Wayne perform in his hometown. I mean, but again, to your point, it's been there several times and they never offered him before. And let's not act like Wayne's the only New Orleans artist either. Because why didn't anybody make a fuss that Master P and No Limit weren't asked? You know what I mean? Like,
something, Payne, don't do this. Don't do this because you're throwing me into a tough spot. I am the biggest Master P fan here, right?
Right.
I don't think Master P belongs at the Super Bowl, right? I think Wayne belongs at a Super Bowl. I think he's crossed over commercially in a way P and No Limit never did, right? So you're putting them in front of a world full of white people, entertaining them for a half an hour. Mike, what's good, baby?
Mike.
I think Wayne supersedes Master P and No Limit if you're talking about that kind of stage.
No question. Yeah, no question.
Okay. So, I mean, on a whole, they could have put Cash Money too. They never asked Cash Money as a whole. I mean, and if we're gonna talk about old music, I mean, none of them have any recent hits either. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
But I think either play would have been smart. Wayne for the hometown vibes, and I mean, he has classics, so it's not like he doesn't have material. Whether it's old or not, it's gonna get the crowd rocking. But then Kendrick, like you said, is right at the forefront of hip hop right now. He has the biggest song in hip hop right now. Like, you can't turn on the TV and not hear "Not Like Us."
Absolutely.
Tidal Wave song. Tidal Wave.
And it's how many months old now? How rare is that now for songs to have that kind of cachet for months on end? You know what I mean? So I think that was the smartest play going with Kendrick. And like you said, it wasn't Jay's call. You know what I mean? But people look for any reason to have animosity towards Jay or to find a kink in his armor so they can be like, oh, he's fucked up. He's a fucked up person. Like, he had nothing to do with he may have had a little to do with the decision, but it wasn't his final call.
Only black people. That's my new hash. That's a new hashtag. Only black people. Only black people. Chuck, I don't want to piss you off with that. I don't want to piss you off.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I probably am going to piss you off with it.
Kinda.
I probably am. But I've just been seeing. I'm sorry, HT, to cut you off, bro. Go ahead, do your thing. But I'm just.
No, I would listen. First and foremost, I don't think there's ever been a precedent where there was a hometown person performing at the Super Bowl. So
yes, there is.
Is a precedent for that?
Yeah, Dre and them did it when it was in LA.
It was Dre and Snoop.
Dre and
Snoop were the LA guys. Dre and Snoop.
What I'm saying is, it's not a precedent that this has been the thing at every Super Bowl.
Right.
Because Las Vegas doesn't have a Super Bowl, doesn't have a local artist that's going to a mainstream artist in Las Vegas, right? But that was Usher. Usher was the biggest thing in Vegas last year, so it made sense that he was already there, right?
Yep.
And what up, baby?
To combat Chuck's point, Rihanna hasn't put out music in years, and she did the Super Bowl the year before that. I think it's just a matter of relevance. So that's half of Chuck's argument, right? Like, yeah, Wayne's dope. He's in those conversations, sure, but like, is he relevant today? Is he doing anything that's making noise today? No. Or has he done anything that's made noise in the last 5 years, for example? You know what I mean? But then this is just surface level as a fan, right? We don't know who he is behind the scenes. Is he reliable? You know what I mean? Like, when's the last time you seen him on a tour with, these grand arenas? He's doing House of Blues.
Well, he actually has Wheezy Fest something coming up in November in New Orleans. It's going to be at the Smoothie King Center with him and the Cash Money, like, because everybody's out now. You know what I'm saying? Turk is home, BG's home, so they're going to do something.
That makes sense. That makes sense for him down there.
Right.
When he was here, he was a House of Blues.
Yeah.
Now his name alone should have him at the Garden. But think about it.
Not by himself. I don't think by himself. I don't think he's selling off the Garden by himself.
Well, that's exactly my point as to why he should be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah, you need Lil Wayne and Friends. I mean, again, Lil Wayne and Friends would have been super dope. You know what I'm saying?
I have a laundry list of people I put at Super Bowl before Wayne.
And again, like
in 2024. Yeah.
In 2024.
Right. Like, catalog is no question crazy. He has one of the craziest catalogs ever. I mean, again, he's, depending on the generation, he's some of their GOATs. Like, Wayne is some of those GOATs for them. But it's like, I don't care what's going on. Like, we can't just deny the monster that Kendrick Lamar has, and the fact that Kendrick Lamar is a way better performer than Lil Wayne. Like, way better. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just in my opinion, just seeing him on the Grammys, and it's like he's a better live performer from when I've watched him versus Wayne, specifically in the last few years. Wayne's performances haven't been the greatest.
That's what I heard too. I heard he was at a show and, like, how they have the trap door and shit like that. Like, he's going down the trap door, and we all know he had a problem with lean, and he has a cup going like in the air, going like that might have played a factor. You know what I mean? Like,
you know something. This takes me back to. Do we have time, Payne? Because I'm about to freestyle.
We got a minute. So why don't you just hold that?
This on purpose.
Right. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. Let's do a little. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm an automatic wine opener. I'm still using, man, because I got rich friends who hooked me up with automatic wine openers. You know what I'm saying? I still got that.
We can always pick it up on the other side.
Let's do that, Payne. Get us out of here,
baby.
Let's move.
Let's get it. 157.
Hey yo, Donut White, no muzzle. Sparring Minds live every Friday. Let's go. Look, it's Sparring Minds. If you don't know the name, look us up. You know it's all facts when you got Chef Maine cooking up a couple of brothers who know all about the struggle. Black excellence, you know we just work hard and hustle. Whenever you want that urban talk, you know we keep it real. Mr. Maritime on the mic, yeah, you know the deal is real life. Hotel High Tower bringing you the feel. DJ Payne, keep it 100. Matter of fact, keep it a mill. Let's go. Let's go.
Sparring Minds 157, Born Again.
We should have called it Freestyle Friday.
No, we ain't gonna do that.
It sounds like we should have called it Freestyle Friday.
No, we ain't gonna do that. I guess the point I wanted to make, Sparring Minds listeners, we appreciate y'all rocking out first and foremost. If you haven't by now, definitely go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube page. We always appreciate getting those numbers the way they should be. I guess my last point, just to tie off the pre-show where we're going with that, and we're just talking about Wayne and the Super Bowl stuff. I guess my last point is, you know, there has to be some level of consideration for representation at the Super Bowl. The truth of the matter is the Super Bowl is an American event, right? And the truth of the matter is, as much as we may or may not like to see that, Black people are still a minority in the country of the United States of America, right? And so when we are putting out talent on a Super Bowl level for the United States of America, it might not be the best idea to have somebody coming through a trap door with a styrofoam cup full of lean to represent us as a people in the culture, right? That might not be the best idea. Yeah. So this takes me back to, you know, in the 90s, would we have put ODB as the representative in the Super Bowl? Probably not, right? That might not have been the best idea. Would we have sent DMX to be a representative at a Super Bowl? Probably wouldn't be the best idea. There are reliability concerns. There are just other things that you are now highlighting as it relates to the community that we may not want showcased on the grandest stage, right? So maybe that's something that Hove and the representation was thinking about, right? As they because make no mistake, they actually put together a short list. Let's understand the process. I know everybody's saying, "Yo, Jay did." Yes, they did. They put together a short list. Here are 6 artists. Now, Super Bowl representatives or whoever it was, committee, here are the 6 names. You guys figure it out. And then those people said, because their suits in an office in Manhattan, who's the hottest of these 6? Turn on the radio. They not like us. Okay, grab him. That's what corner office people would do.
I feel like 98 DMX would have got it too, Maul, because it was before all his problems were magnified. Yeah, 98.
But what I'm saying to you is the community would have recognized, you playing with gas. We know that. The people in Manhattan might not have understood that. We would have said, oh, that's a risk. But go off, X. Tori, what's up, baby girl?
What up, Tori?
We realize that's a risk. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's very likely X don't pull up to the show. That's possible in 98. They didn't know that. But they do know now it's possible Wayne don't pull up. If it's possible that Wayne pull up, he's high as a kite. Those things are possible.
Oh, I mean, also just to tie it off, it's like right before the Grammys, Kendrick is nominated for God knows how many awards. You know what I mean? Like there's a good chance that he's going to get some award, carry that momentum and energy into the Super Bowl. It seems like, listen, they said, man, you know, Chuck, what Chuck doesn't like the most, to be the number 1 driving force, which is the dollars. The dollars drove that conversation. So yeah, we'll tie that off. I mean, definitely shout out to Kendrick, shout out to Weezy F. I mean, again, before 5 years when Rock Nation was involved, I mean, look who we were getting. Like, let's be grateful. You know what I'm saying? But
100%.
What Chuck doesn't like is my new hashtag, only Black people.
We're not going to do that, sure.
I'm just saying, only Black people.
Just be grateful we ain't getting shit like the Rolling Stones and shit for halftime no
Just
more.
get Maroon 5, dog. Like Coldplay. Like that. That's what was happening, dog. You know what I'm saying? Before Justin pulled the thing off of Janet, like, you know what I'm saying? Like before that, come on, bro.
Nah, Chef, I ain't gonna let you shit on Coldplay. I like Coldplay myself.
I like Coldplay too, but I'm just saying, like that's what we were getting is the point. I like Coldplay too, though. Can't front. I like Coldplay too.
You know something? You know something, Payne? Do me a favor. I first of all, I don't give a fuck about Coldplay, so I don't mind cutting off the discussion about Coldplay. Can you do me a favor and let's do a quick man law?
It's man law time.
Don't feel no different with your dog. That law. If you come up, don't forget about your dog. That law. That law. That law.
Sparring Minds listeners, man law is a segment that we use here from time to time to give you a definitive how men should act in all times, right? The beauty of man law is that it's universal. Every man you know should be following a code of honor on some level, right? I'm going to introduce something today that really shouldn't be debated, but ties into a story that we've been recently following.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the introduction. Your actions as a man should always be premeditated. And as such, you minimize the need for random apologies. Can you guys agree with me there? Every action that you take should have been premeditated. You don't jump off the ledge as a man and do things based on emotion. Oh, my heart said. We don't do that as men, right? Your actions, damn, let me think this through. Makes sense? Logic behind it? Cool. I am now going to act. If you do that, you very seldomly find yourself on social media saying, I apologize, I was hacked, right? We can agree that you don't have to do that, right? Let's talk about some things.
Yeah, I agree. That's about right. Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
There is never a case in the history of history where you want to record some shit that might have happened and then apologize later. True?
True.
That's true. Right? Your thoughts. If you wanted to do something sexually with a young lady, go off. If you wanted to record that, go off. Premeditated, because then you've thought about it, you had a discussion, you got consent, go off. I struggle with men who do things and apologize later for something that you should have already thought about. We're on the same page here, boys?
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
This is going to tie into today's topic of born again as we dive into that. But I do find it very, very interesting that someone in Shannon's ilk, who we consider Unc, listen, in order for you to get an Unc tag from me, you have to have shown some leadership. That's why we go to Uncs. Them niggas got game that they can give us. You don't do shit like this.
Church.
Okay. So long as we're on the same page.
So you don't believe it was an accident? You believe it was staged too, right?
Definitely wasn't. Definitely wasn't. It's too many buttons you gotta press
To go live, yeah.
To go live on IG. It's no way.
Yeah.
It's no way. It's
no accidental live.
Yeah. It's no way. It's no accidental live. No way I believe that. No way I believe that.
He with that nigga was clapping cheeks.
Unc got tired of hearing about everybody calling him or floating them rumors that, you know what I'm saying, he was a pillow biter, and he said, yo, nah, I'm gonna show y'all Unc get it in. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, Unc get it in. And then I'm gonna add some sauce to it, because then I'm gonna say, yo, you know, I'm gonna throw the who's is it? I'm gonna really, you know what I mean? Let you know, like, nah, Unc is that guy. So no way, Unc. Yeah, no accident. Hey, listen, man. You know what I mean? Whatever floats your boat. Sis, I didn't mean. I'm just saying though, sis. That's what they was calling Unc. You know what I mean? I'm just
pillow biter. Pillow biter is wild, bro.
That is crazy wild.
That's wild.
I'm just saying, darling. You know what? I'm gonna stop. It's the wine. All right.
Well, but it's unnecessary. Well, again, in today's world where there is value in going viral, right? I guess it is for those type of people.
Tori got to relax.
Tori got to relax. Man. Yo, you got to relax.
I know it's Friday the 13th, everybody, but yo, we got to settle down.
That's wild, dog. That's wild. Yeah, so I don't see the need. I didn't see the need for it, and I think where it hurt, it did. where it frustrates me is that don't come out and say you was hacked. Just say this is something you released, and maybe it was in bad taste. Say that. I respect that more. You dig?
I know one thing. Everybody in the world looking for Michelle.
So don't be twisted, Payne, because here's the reality. You know our community. They found Michelle.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. They found a picture, everything, the hoop,
IG page, all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Real?
I'm
late.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm late. I thought they were still looking.
Come on, man. Come on,
It don't
man.
take much, man.
Not in today's society. You know what I'm saying? With the one click.
No.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
They had her
24
hours. 24 hours they
found-
had her online. Yeah,
They
crazy.
found her. Well, I mean, like, so initially, I think that seems to be like a celebrity thing, right? Of where they make that announcement, that this happened and whatever. But then on Nightcap, like he just owned it. You know what I mean? Like he just said, what it was. I mean, because again, nobody was buying that story about being hacked or anything like that. Like we all know again what that was about, why you did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Yeah, but again, and that's the thing, Mike. It's like, yo, the only thing that got me tight about it was get the fuck out of here with the hack shit.
Right.
Just say what time it was. You see what I'm saying? And listen, here's the other thing about it. I don't think Michelle could probably have a problem with it. She her 15 minutes of fame too. You see what I'm saying?
The DMs are on fire right now.
Yeah, if she's fucking Shannon Sharp, she's probably about that life. She probably don't mind a little shine. That's why she's fucking Shannon Sharp.
Shit, knowing Shannon Sharp, she probably work at Magic City. He love Magic City.
I don't doubt
it. He'll tell you in a heartbeat. Shit.
I don't doubt it. And this probably raised her views. She probably gonna go viral.
She might have consented. I think she consented. I think that was.
Yeah,
she knew what time it was.
She
knew what time it was.
Yeah, Tori's exactly right. It's all about consent, and this is why I said earlier, like, so long as you get her consent, go. You can post the whole shit on X if you want to. You see what I'm saying? As of course, as long as you get the consent from the young lady. So
I'm just glad he didn't lose his job because these companies be trying to go overboard. Like people ain't humans. Like, I mean, yeah, he posted it purposely or it was staged or what have you, but they be firing people for having consensual sex and all types of dumb shit sometimes too. Like, so I'm just glad he didn't lose his job over it because he's actually good at what he does.
Very good.
Again, back to my term, only black people. Of course, they brought up Paul Pierce's situation, but Paul Pierce was on the video. You saw Pierce. You saw him smoking weed with strippers getting lapped in. That's a totally different visual than just seeing the ceiling or whatever the case may be, and just hearing some grunting and smacking. You know what I mean? Like it's a totally different vibe, dog. But again, it's always this fake outrage, and usually it's only.
I'm not doing that with you. I'm not doing that. By the way. Shout out to one of the most entertaining people in the history of history. Yeah, good point, Tori. Shout out to Killer Cam. I'm not sure if you guys tuned into Cam's IG yesterday.
With the reenactment.
Nah, I didn't see it.
Oh, dog.
He was making fun of him. He did a spoof, basically.
Yeah, Cam reenacted it, and it was the most hilarious thing I've seen in weeks. At the end, he was like, "Oh no, the record." Oh no! Yo. He's like, "Oh no, we was going live by mistake." Cam, cut the shit, dog. Yo. We're gonna put that up on the Sparring Minds page. Killer is
oh my god, that was
Cam
hilarious.
is hilarious.
Oh, y'all didn't see Lou Young. Lou Young did a video about it too. That's just
funny.
Yeah, that's just funny.
Yo, Cam was like, "Yo, you got that white sauce all over you." I'm like, "Cam, what are you doing?" Yo, it was hilarious. Yo, I'll put it up. Yo, you gotta see it.
He has
oh my god.
Yo, no, hold on, lift up. Yo, I'm about to put it in your ass. I'm about to put it.
Yeah. Yo, Cam was going in. He was going in. It was hilarious, dog. So shout to Killer. But I think where we have to take this conversation, right? And in the original insert of Man Law, of being not moving emotionally, but moving with premeditated thought. That's what women, please, can we knock it off with like we haven't had women attack hustle stuff since like season 2. Let's just leave that to the side. That's what separates men from women, is that we are not supposed to move on emotion, right? We move on premeditated thought. We're talking tonight about born again, right? And the concept of born again is the process around what happens when you outgrow relationships, right? And you start a new journey of your life, right? Now, this might be a relationship with 2 friends who've been, me and Chef, me and Payne, we've been doing it for 20 years, right? But they outgrow me, right? They're on to new, different journeys that I might not see myself involved with. This might be, John and his wife, Tasha, and Tasha has outgrown John. Tasha is looking at different things, and John's not ready to make their moves. So there's really 2 different conversations that we can have here. But I think the importance of it really is wrapped around how much of it is done in emotion, how much of it is done with premeditated thought based on logic. You see what I'm saying? Let's start on the men's side. So give me an example, boys, if you have one, where you have outgrown a partner of yours, a male partner, like one of your homies, a guy you grew up with. You dig? We was doing this in high school, but you know what? He just seemed a little short-sighted, or maybe not. Maybe there was nothing negative about him. My journey just took him in a different way than his. Right? Let's talk a little bit about that. And what I hope you say to me is, you know what? It wasn't based off emotion. It was based on premeditated thought. What we see in our community too often is niggas get into an argument. Fuck that nigga, man. And now, left the nigga to the side. Yeah, okay, talk to me. Educate me.
I have one in particular. Me and my homeboy was riding tough from high school to I don't know how long. And Chuck, you know who it is. But it wasn't, the separation wasn't a premeditated. I think it was just an unspoken separation. And I think it was one-sided because, on the one hand, it's like, yeah, that's my man. I can call him if I need him, blah, 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 blah. But now those calls ain't getting answered. And it's like, okay, what's going on? So I'm not sure if I was on the receiving end of that separation or if I was on the proactive end where I was like, well, I got to start putting so much energy in that direction and put it over here where it's valued.
And see, to me, that sounds like emotion, right?
I don't think it's emotion. I think it's just like they're doing their thing over there. I got my thing over here. There's no bad blood, dap his paw if I see him. But the energy that I was putting there was no longer being valued, reciprocated. It's all right, well, if I'm putting all this in here, I'm losing out on what's going on around me over here. So let me focus on where the energy is valued, appreciated, reciprocated. Then it's like, all right, well, I'm going to keep it over here. If I get that call, I get that text, I respond. But the energy has to shift.
I can't think of too many situations where that's happened. I mean, I think life just be life, and sometimes, and you have kids and a bunch of stuff, and that could be one thing that kind of can cause a distance between 2 close friends. But I'm really I struggle with really thinking about a scenario in which, like, I stopped speaking to a friend of mine, like, for because we had a falling out. You know what I'm saying? I can't think of any like that jump off the top. You know what I'm saying? Pause.
Deanna, what's good?
Yeah, I can't think of too many. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, like, again, like, people go through shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't think it ever. I think the love can always still be there, even with you guys not speaking. And then when you see each other, you could pick back up like it never happened. Like, it just, like, time didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, getting away or whatever. So me personally, maybe it'll happen. I'll figure it out. But I've struggled with thinking about like a scenario like that.
Have you ever found yourself in a scenario where you're the one that's constantly doing the outreach?
Yes. Yes. See, the thing about me, and you guys know this well about me, I don't care about reciprocation. It's not a term I give a shit about, right? I say this to Ant every morning when I talk to him to get my morning coffee. I say, I'm gonna be hustle regardless. You niggas know me well enough to know I'm gonna do me. I don't need you to do you in order for me to be me. You dig what I'm saying?
Church.
I'm me. I'm me. And I think so. If I reach out to a nigga, so I've had a couple of these examples that I'm gonna bring up tonight. I've had a couple of these examples where, damn, I call this nigga all the time. There's no incoming calls. But hey man, my energy is secure because this is what I do. I call out. And I'm comfortable with that. I don't need you to match my energy.
Right.
You did? So for me, now let's talk more about that. If you live in a land where you need reciprocation, guess what? You're now Dwayne, what's good? You're now dancing very finely on emotions, right? Because somewhere in your heart is saying, well, they don't call me, so I don't call. That's emotion shit.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
I don't do that. I don't give a fuck about that. Me,
No.
the logic is I'm gonna be me regardless.
Yeah.
But the logic in that is, and I'll let you go in a sec, Pain. The logic in that is you have been ingrained in my family for 10 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
Without any reason, you're no longer ingrained in my family.
Mm-hmm. Talk that.
Something happened. I don't know what it is. And until you tell me what it is, it's nothing, right? But obviously there's a disconnect. I don't think there's emotion in that. It's almost like, all right, well, I know if I want to speak to this person, I got to do the reaching out. But now if you're ingrained in my family, there should be a level of, damn, how's Aunt doing? How's his daughter doing? How's his family doing? How's his mom doing? There's got to be a level of that. Now, if you call that emotion, cool. But if you were my brother for 30 years and that stops, that's on you. Like Chuck said, I'm going to be me regardless. Mm-hmm. But it looks away when that no longer happens. Because at one point it was happening all the time, right?
Let me talk this talk. Pain, sorry, dog. I know Pain it's like double dutch. I know.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
I know. Put Pain, accept my apology, bro. So this is real life shit we're talking, right? Spawn Minds listeners, I'm glad y'all are here. We're talking real life shit, right? This is much like you said, Ant, somebody in my life forever. 91. You dig? You ingrained in my family. Mm-hmm. You have family reunions. Mm-hmm. You dig what I'm saying? You hear. My grandma know you. My grandma got your number in her phone. Mm-hmm. You dig? That kind of important. How is he? This is real life shit, right? I talk to this nigga every day. You dig? And then something happens, right? Things change. And I don't talk to this nigga 4 weeks, 4 months, for a long time. You dig? Emotions could say, fuck that nigga. Right? Especially if I played a reciprocation game. Fuck that nigga. It was used to be this, and now it's changed. Born again. Now it's changed. What the fuck going on? Unbeknownst to me, this is where I caution men, knock it off with the emotion sometimes, and use the logic, use premeditation, have a motherfucking discussion sometimes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Unbeknownst to me, he had some shit in his real life world that was only happening because of his relationship with me. Let's dive deeper, right? Mm-hmm. So, my world at the time presented him some real life motherfucking traumas. You guys have been around long enough to know there was a couple year span I was losing family members every 8 months, right? And so at that time, he had also been losing some family members. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So now he can't escape this shit. He's having it in his real life. And 9 out of 10 people who call my phone use Charles Jones as an escape from their life, right? When they call me, it's Chuck, take my mind off of whatever the fuck I'm going through. That's 9 out of 10. And when you call me, we're talking about some bullshit. We're talking about some video games. We're talking about wrestling. We're talking about whatever the fuck is going on to distract you from that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you call me and I'm reminding you of the bullshit that's happening in your world, that's a problem, right? So I could have said, nigga, I feel away because you're not calling me, not recognizing that him calling me further added to the traumas in his world. With a discussion, I could have respected that. So all I'm saying is, if we put the emotions to the side, allow logic, be men, and say, hey, my nigga, what's really good? Talk to me about what's really going on. You see what I'm saying? I know there's been a little bit of a strange move, but let's figure it out. Then as men, we can get to the bottom of it. What we can't do is say, oh, my heart makes me feel like I shouldn't, because nothing ever gets resolved. Sorry.
Not with men. Not with men, definitely. I mean, not in any case, but definitely not with two men for sure. No, that should never be the case.
Yeah. No, and so like to harp on that situation or that scenario, right? We had a real life example of it kind of last year, right, within our group, because I was going through a bout of depression. I knew I wasn't moving to Florida anymore. I had some stressful situations. My grandmother passed and stuff like that. And I was kind of distant. I wasn't as involved in Sparring Minds as I normally would be, or as I have been this year. And, when I told guys I may not do that season last fall, everyone, asked what was going on. And I spoke to guys and let them know, you know what I mean? Sometimes something happens that triggers something, like you said, and until a conversation is had, everything's cloudy. So just like you said, just talk. You know what I mean? Like moving off emotion. Like if you guys would have moved off emotion, like, oh, that nigga ain't around. He's lollygagging. He's pushing us off to the side. Fuck him.
Never.
We would have never got to episode 157 as a whole. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Word up.
So, and I have a lot of friends that I grew up with that I outgrew because our interests just didn't align. They like to smoke weed and drink all the time. I don't do any of that shit. You know what I mean? They like to just kick it on the porch or go out all the time. I don't really do that shit. You know what I mean? But when I see them, it's all love, because I may not be that friend that reaches out all the time, but I'm the friend that picks up almost every time you call me. Unless you call me at like 3 a.m, then you're bugging. But if it's not an emergency. But if you call me, I pick up. I may not call you, but that doesn't mean I'm not your friend. I'm always here for people. So,
and let's stay there, Payne. Let's stay there,
Right.
Payne. I think that's an important part of what we're talking about tonight. We're born again, right? It's these opportunities where, we outgrow relationships. We outgrow situations, and some things are just part of a different path than what we want to continue on, right? So with me chasing this journey of trying to be a filmmaker and being in that world, right? There were some friends of mine who just didn't see the vision, or, truth be told, didn't necessarily support the vision, right? And that's cool, but what I can't allow as a man is to allow someone else's view
Decision.
of me to stop my individual goals.
Mhm.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And so it is outgrowing people. You guys know on this show, I've spoken very highly about never leaving niggas behind. So while I may go down this journey, right, it's not outside of Charles Jones to reach back and say, yo, my nigga, I actually made a movie. I am a filmmaker now by definition. Google me, right? But come along now. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's still love.
Yeah.
Come fuck with me.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Maybe you didn't believe in me at first, but now I'm born again. I've done what I said I was going to do, and it still can be cordial. My concern is after we become born again, after we now get on the right track of trying to find what the fuck we want, right? It don't mean it got to be messy with the other nigga.
Never.
It don't mean it got to be tumultuous. It don't mean it got to be beef. paid in full, man. It don't mean I gotta be, because now guess what that nigga could be? He could be salty, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you used to be just like me. You used to be a little nigga, and
Yeah.
now you doing other shit. Put
trying
me
to line
on.
you up. Yeah, trying to line you up.
Now it be messy. You dig what I'm saying? Now it's something. It don't gotta be that. This is why I always argue with Hightower, nigga. Being born again don't equate to leaving niggas behind. It don't mean that. It just means go find what makes you happy. Do that. Don't stop. Be a demigod. That's what you were born to be. But oh, by the way, reach back and grab that nigga on your way up.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
For
So that it's not tumultuous.
For sure.
You dig?
So, real quick before we get any further, we had a couple of comments that were pretty interesting.
What up?
Tori said, "Does premeditated thought not include emotion? If you do what you intended to do, how will it make you feel if it backfires?"
Hightower, you got something on that?
I'm on this fence with her because I feel like there's a level of emotion in it. Maybe it's very little, but yeah, I don't know.
Premeditated thought. Chef, did you want to go? Because I have something. You guys know me. Premeditated thought allows a man, I can't speak for women. Pardon me for my ignorance on feminine views. But I can't speak for men. Premeditated thought allows me to sift out the emotion and deal in logic. Right? Damn, I'm mad about. All right, get rid of that shit. The premeditated thought when it comes out of my mouth is, here's how the fuck we're gonna move forward. That's based on logic. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The superpowers of being a man is, or it's supposed to be, because today's world, I don't know what the fuck going on. But it's supposed to be niggas making decisions and laying out paths conclusively in logic.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Let your emotional friend bring the emotions. Oh my God, the world is gonna end if we don't. And then you say, okay, premeditated thought, the world's not gonna end. Here's how we can move forward with logic. And now I can respond. You dig? Now, if that backfires, here's the thing about it. It's okay because I made that decision in logic, not emotion. 9 times out of 10, do we? 6 times out of 10, if you make a decision out of emotion, it's going to be wrong. It's going to backfire because you didn't think it through.
But I think what she means is that the emotion is part of. So, when you do algebra and the equations, you got to cancel out something, right? So the emotion is X. You got to solve for X, right? So you got to cancel that shit out. So you're taking X into the equation, but you're getting rid of it in order to come up with the solution, if that makes sense. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, but here's the problem.
It is part
a lot of niggas are allowing X to remain in the equation even through the solution of the problem. And that's the issue.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think she means that the emotion is part of the equation to get to the answer. You can't just make it logically and not factor in, oh, this is how it made me feel, but let me figure it out so that we can resolve it. You know what I mean?
Yes, but that final solution can't include the emotion. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to y'all, or am I speaking out of turn?
No, you're solving for X. Your X shouldn't be the answer.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, okay. And then we had another comment from Deanna. I don't think that men are less emotional about it. I think it's usually men don't allow their emotions to be displayed in embarrassing ways as often as women. I think it depends on the generation at this point.
No, I think this goes to support Chuck. Men shouldn't allow their emotions to be displayed, and because if you look at the community and how a lot of these things are happening in our community, they're rooted in emotion.
Mm-hmm.
You take the emotion out of those situations, the situation probably don't happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, pretty simple to me.
And then real quick before we move on, Tori said, "I'm not a man, but I think having some type of emotional intelligence should coexist with your premeditated thoughts and actions. And that's where, I think that's where we were talking about the solving for X. You know how it made you feel, but now you got to figure out how to come to a resolution about it without having your feelings be the answer. You know what I mean? So
the thing about
see that
the thing about emotional intelligence. Go ahead, Bang. Go ahead.
Just real quick, like I'm a closet Star Wars geek. You want to move like a Jedi, not like a Sith. Siths move on emotion. It's always black or white. It's never there's never a gray area where we can come to a middle ground. So you don't want to be a Sith Lord. You want to be a Jedi.
Makes sense.
Hightower, you were going because I'm.
So what I was going to say was, when you think of emotional intelligence, the intelligence part comes into play to let you know to think with logic.
Yeah.
So even though it may be rooted in emotion, the intelligence steps in and says, yeah, that might have made you feel a way, but let's not let that feeling dictate how you move going forward. So the intelligence part comes in, and now it's like you take a step back, and then Chuck's part comes in where it's like, all right, now let's premeditate what we're going to do going forward with the emotion, without the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where I struggle. Here's why I struggle. This is not the first time or last time I'll be accused of toxic masculinity, right? But I do believe that lately, the last probably 10 years or so in our lives, we hear the terms of, oh, well, men have a lack of emotional intelligence because they don't feel the same way that women do, right? And to me, it's about how that I can't remember the last time I had the same or even close to emotional response to something that my wife did. I can't remember the last time, right? And I'm not designed for that. I'm not designed to have emotional outbursts. That's not my design. My design is what happened, Pay?
I was hoping that wasn't the word you used because it sounds crazy.
What?
An emotional outburst. It just doesn't sound good to me.
And meanwhile, I said it, right? I don't have those. The minute something comes up, I am very much, I talk to Hightower about this all the time. The minute I hear of a situation, I can sieve out very, very, very quickly the emotions of a conversation and immediately go into what all men should go into, which is problem-solving mode. Every conversation I have, I do exactly that. And so leave that on the screen, Payne. I want to come right back to that. Don't move that. It's important to me, Chuck. That's toxic masculinity. No, I'm showing you how men are supposed to move. Our job as men is to problem solve. It's one of our core functions. I can't problem solve if I'm too busy dealing with the emotions of a situation, right? I can't do that. It directly conflicts what I'm trying to do, which is solve the problem. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, Charles, the house is on fire. What are we gonna do? Oh my God, Fabian, the house is on fire. What are we gonna do? No, babe, grab your jacket. Let's get the fuck out the door. I could go through the emotions and we burn to death. Or I say, no, here's our action plan. Let's get the fuck out of here. Once we get outside and you're safe and you're Sparring, listen, we'll be right back. Go get some water. We're gonna take a quick break, fellas. In the history of history, here's one fact. When you are talking to your lady and she's in an emotional state, the worst thing you could ever do is try to also be in an emotional state.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why. First thing is, you immediately diminish your value as a problem solver. Secondly, You no longer are a pillar that she can lean on in her moments of weakness and emotional overwhelming. Because guess what? Now she looks at you as this nigga is also going to be emotionally overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was about to say you're no longer her rock.
You are no longer that nigga. And guess what? In my world, in order for you to be defined as a man, you are the rock, regardless of what your emotions are in that moment. The house is burning down. I could be going, oh my God, my Xbox.
That's the first thing you think of?
Hell yeah.
But my function as a man is to deal with the logic, get my wife out this fucking house. You see the beauty of being able to separate emotions from the logic? It don't mean that I'm some scarecrow and I don't have emotions. I deal with those separately on my own, outside, right? Because now my wife, when we get out there, oh God, thank God, we're safe. I got you, babe. Meanwhile, in my head, man, this is a motherfucker. We was almost out of here. I have a responsibility to my wife to be that nigga, right? And I will never sacrifice that, right? Women today want you to be just as emotional as them. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. There should not be a man in my circle who's acting that way. I can't. No, we need additional conversations. All right, okay. Sparring, we're back. Sorry about that. We'll take a quick break. But no, I just say that to say it's important for us men to strive in being logistical beings. We are absolutely not designed to have the same emotional. Deanna's right. Deanna's often right in these conversations, by the way. Salute to Deanna.
Deanna.
Yeah, she's often right in these conversations. I like that men are men and women are women. I'm still from that ilk. But okay, so we have to pivot. Yeah, and she's right again. Yeah, women are designed to feel more, and that's true. And it's important that men understand that and not try to match energies. Nigga, knock it off. Don't match energies with women. Here's what I can't stand from a woman, from a man. Pardon me. Oh, she made me feel like this, so I'm gonna make her feel like. Get you the fuck out of here. You soft as shit. If I ever hear a nigga being tit for tat with a woman, get you the fuck out of here. Go put a dress on with her.
Go buy the pillow.
Go buy the
Hey, yeah.
You what the fuck?
We're not gonna change the hashtag to pillow biters. No way.
Yeah, might as well. Might as well.
Way, dog. No
There's
way.
the second half of this conversation that we have to dive into before we wrap this session up, right? And it's the situation where a man outgrows a relationship, goes on to chase a path that he believes is for him now. A woman outgrows a man, right? And goes on to chase a path that just might be for her, right? That she's been able to determine that level of happiness on a new journey. That guy to decide, right? So hold on a second. Let me read this because I might have to go put some hands. Hold on a second.
Read it out loud. You can't read it silent. The people that's listening.
We don't argue in our relationship because we learn how to have conversations without being super emotional. That's facts. Being emotional on both ends can cause a big eruption. That's facts. Then we both are not hearing each other. Super facts again. Right?
That's exactly the reason why one needs to be logical and one can express their emotions more. So you can express your emotions after the fact, but logically get to the bottom of it, figure it out, and then you can express it. What you were feeling in that moment.
Yeah. I want to talk about born again. I want to talk about a woman who has been with a man for 5 years. And then, the guy is let's talk financially. There are other things, but let's talk financially for now. The guy is happy working at Dollar Tree, right? That's kind of his thing. He's cool, right? I don't want more in life. You dig? Like, I'm happy with this. Meanwhile, the woman's like, no, like I see people on social media taking trips to Egypt. I want that. I want a different life. I want something that, that our relationship is not offering me at the moment, right? So first, is she a villain for wanting something different than what the relationship is currently offering her? right? Let's start there. Let's start there. Once you are committed, are you a villain to say after said commitment, I no longer want this. I no longer your dreams, the way you're moving, the things the way you're making me feel, whatever, are no longer satisfactory and I deserve more. Is there a villain in that story?
There shouldn't be, but there
Yeah, I
usually
don't.
is.
Yeah, nah, it's nothing wrong with that. It's yeah, I mean, like I don't think you can fault someone for wanting more out of life and having an expectation to want you to want more from it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Mhm.
Yeah. To and I'm not calling you your daughter's name. To Ev's point, uh, people do change, right? And your goals and your outlook on life might, change, and you may be going two total opposite directions and outgrow each other. Like, but again, this goes all the way back to what Chuck harps on a lot of times. Use the dating stage wisely to learn that person so you know that's that person. You know what I mean? Like that change doesn't happen like overnight. You know what I mean? It happens over some time. So if you use the dating stage wisely and your relationship stage wisely before marrying that person, that growing apart, it's hard. It can happen still. Don't get me wrong, but it gets a little harder to happen if you use those stages better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I struggle, boys. I struggle. Hightower, did you need to go? Because I'm gonna go. Here's why I struggle. Here's why I struggle. And I've said this before on this show. If you are in a relationship correctly, right? Meaning that I put this person who I'm with as my ultimate value, we're growing together. You think what I'm saying? There's never a time where I have ventured into something. Well, I'm not taking my wife with me. You understand what I'm saying? My evolution into filmmaking right now, right? Guess what? My wife is going to that evolution too. Tori's saying the same thing, right?
100%,
Like,
yeah.
my evolution is directly tied to my wife because she is at the top of the food chain. I don't evolve without her. You see what I'm saying? So what you guys are saying is your evolution is an independent construct. I can't wrap my head around that. I can't agree with that because my journeys, even though they're individual in terms of they came from me, they came from my heart, they came from my desires, I don't chase them without including her in that chase. You understand what I'm saying? So there was an example here earlier about you saying, "Oh, I want to be able to travel, and you don't want to travel, so I'm going." Our relationship is me. I want to travel, but I want to travel with you. So guess what? I'll front the finances. I'll pay for the trips, but we're gonna go and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna have a great time. And I'm gonna show you why this is valuable. We talked earlier about stop leaving motherfuckers behind. Go ahead, Chef.
Was money the deciding factor in it? Because I don't recall it. Is that, or that's just you just adding that sauce to it?
No, that's just a little seasoning salt. I mean, but who knows what the reason is?
Okay, all right. I'm a chef, so I see like when stuff's getting sprinkled in that wasn't a part of the recipe before. I'm like, what's going on with this?
Yeah,
I mean, again, like what? Again, so like, absolutely, that should be the basic. But what if you can't force someone to want to go somewhere and be on a journey with you? Do you stay stagnant for the sake of the relationship and say, yo, I want to keep it real with this. I'm not going to do this if you're not a part of it. That part seems like you're stunting your own growth or whatever the case may be. And it just goes back to our phrase when everybody can't go. Now, obviously your lady, that's a different ballgame. It's a different ballgame. Don't swing on me through the laptop. All right. But I'm just saying though, are you not supposed to evolve as an individual if the person you're with doesn't have those aspirations to want to evolve with you? You can pay for the trip. You can do whatever the case may be. You can get a limo for the airport, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But just playing devil's advocate, if the person just has no desire to want more or do more, in that case, what do? Do you stagnate yourself? And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do in that case?
I think for me personally, right,
Yeah.
I think it's a discussion of maybe because listen, I take commitment very, very seriously.
Right.
Right. And so maybe to me, it's now a conversation of, you know what? Maybe I need to adjust what my evolution is going to look like. Right. Like maybe my evolution, my lady don't want to travel to Egypt. Okay. That's okay. Right. Because again, I'm sacrificing my heart for her. You dig what I'm saying? So, okay, cool. Babe, what are your aspirations? Right. I've said it a billion times in relationships. Once you make a commitment, you are saying, I'm going to do for you with the hopes that you're going to do for me. And then we'll both be done for. Right. So, okay, babe, you know what? Traveling might not be your gig. It's mine, but it may not be yours. What is yours? Oh, art and painting? Cool. Let's do something now. Right. So now you lead as men. You lead by motherfucking example. Right. So guess what I'm doing now? I'm sacrificing. I'm saying, you know what? It's cool. Let me shelf this for a minute. Let me put some energy into her goals. And we spend 6 months. And now this is no benefit to me, but it's every benefit to her. Right. And she sees now at the end of that 6 months, we've been going to art classes. We've been going to museums. We're doing all this. And guess what she sees? That nigga is actually invested in my evolution. Now, 6 months, a year later, come back around. Oh, babe, I saw a museum in Italy. Oh, guess what? We can do art and we can do my shit. See, as men, we are wired to be problem solvers. Be a problem solver. Complete your focus, right? But you can do that still by putting your lady as a priority.
I got a problem for your ass right now. Pause. So we're talking about evolving together, right? And your partner's evolution, yours is tied directly to theirs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me give you a quick scenario because we're kind of up against it.
Okay.
You both grew up and together, you're both devout Christians. Mm-hmm. Out of nowhere, your wife decides she wants to be a devil-worshiping atheist. I mean, she's sacrificing small goats on your bed. And you're finding all types of shit all over the place. Yeah, like what do you do?
Or making it pop for a goon, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. So what do you do in that situation?
No, well, first off, I don't put anything ahead of God. So even my lady, you know what I mean? So that's kind of a deal breaker for me. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Like there's no question there. If you're doing that kind of shit, all right, well, we need to go a different direction. But one thing I have seen in real life is two people living a regular life, without a religious focus, which is where I thought you were going with this. You made it easy with the devil worship shit, right? That was okay. Get the fuck out of here. But two people living a regular journey, right? Just us in the hood, we might smoke a little bit here and there, whatever, cool. But then on a random Tuesday, all of a sudden, God is everything. And the way we've been moving, we no longer moving that way, right? And all the wild shit that we used to do, I no longer want that.
That's dope.
Yes, unless but if that wasn't a part of your focus, I don't know. Right? That's wild. For you to say, for us to be, yeah, we smoking on Tuesday. We're gonna have a little drinky drink on a Thursday. Cool. We're gonna have everybody over. And then that turns into, sorry, I don't want to do that no more. We got Bible study on Tuesdays. We got choir on Thursdays. It's, well, what happened to us?
Mm-hmm.
You have outgrown me. You are now born again. In a way, in the only way that would supersede me, which is God. That's crazy. I don't know what happens though in those cases. But here on earth, there's nothing that should supersede me. So evolving or being more important than me, it's crazy. Let's do it together.
That
That happened to me. Go ahead, Payne.
That happened to me. We got baptized and everything. Then he wanted to live a double life. Sunday church, Monday through Saturday, let's drink and smoke, etc.
Yeah. See, that's difficult. It's difficult when you insert religion, right? Because religion is again, you guys heard me say this. Faith is the single most important entity on earth to me. The single most important entity, right? On earth. God still reigns supreme, right? So when you enter religion into the chat, changes a lot of the direction on this, but in terms of evolution, in terms of growth, in terms of individual accolades, all of that shit is secondary to my wife, and I hope that over 6 months, over a year, over 5 years, over 10 years, whatever, there's no shot clock on that, fellas, because we don't move in emotion, right? We're never in a space where we're like, well, I don't feel as though. We don't do that. That's for your lady to do, right? So men, your job is to sacrifice until she's in a comfortable space. And when she's in a comfortable space, 9.5 women out of 10, with the asterisks being women from Roxbury, because that's a different. Generally, they're going to come over and say, you know what, babe? You held me down for 5 years. We did everything I wanted to do. Let me get you right. Let me do it. I didn't want to go cliff jumping, but you know what? I know it's on your dream. Let's go do that. If you chose correctly in the dating stage.
Uh-oh.
Cliff jumping.
You better get comfortable in that room, bro.
Nah, fuck that. We up against it, huh, Payne?
Yeah, man. We up against it. We got 4 minutes.
Good show.
We got 4 minutes.
Absolutely.
This was very interesting. This was enlightening. I like everything about this conversation and the journey that we took in this tonight.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna take this and continue it with my girl, talking about it off screen and get into this conversation a little bit, because it's a very important thing, because people do outgrow each other, and it's sad. But like you said, if your evolution is tied directly to your lady or your man, it makes it harder for that to happen.
It's impossible. It's almost impossible for you to outgrow someone if you're following the same path. It's almost impossible, But you have to have a level of selflessness to do that. You have to be willing to say, I'm not going to go as fast as I want to go. I might not reach the things I want to reach right away because I'm bringing you along. And that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Because the journey, the everyday journey of us sharing that makes it worth the while. When you laid up on a Wednesday night after just doing something that was satisfying, that makes that conversation much better too. You know what I mean? You're not just living in a world by yourself, independent of her thought. You're sharing those thoughts. That's why the fuck you commit to someone. It's to have a shared experience. You doing shit like on your own independently and wondering why we're growing apart. Nigga, you're the problem. Stop trying to live single when you are committed. Yeah, Deanna, I've been doing this for a couple of years. I get it.
And you can have a life apart from each other without going off on your own. You know what I mean? Like, you can have your hobbies or like the things you enjoy doing on your own, but like that's totally different from living, like you said, living like you're single. You know what I mean?
Facts. And that's where the struggle is. That's where the struggle is. And I'll be honest with you too, because for women, unlike men, they feel that shift. They feel it when you're going off on your own doing shit, right? And meanwhile, we're like, do, life is great. Because, we don't live in emotional places. They do. Damn, you're distant, nigga. What's really good? Yeah. Meanwhile, we're like, I was just talking to Payne for 2 hours. We're just talking about wrestling, and he don't know anything about life, so I had to school him. We think it's totally, 20 innocent, right? It's just like, yo, nigga, like, I ain't talked to you in 2 days. Because women, of course, everything's multiplied, right? Like
everything.
I missed dinner, nigga. Did you move out? Girl, come on, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, they do want patterns,
I was watching. There's a couple I follow on TikTok. I think it's called Meet the Blacks or Or
they're hilarious. Though.
Yo, they are funny as hell. And he did a prank last night to her, saying he was just gonna sleep on the couch randomly.
Hilarious.
Shit like that is like, I mean, it was a prank, but something like that
Real life
is where it starts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because she was like, no, we don't do that in this marriage. And she was about to cry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's that change in pattern. Like, wait, why are we drifting apart? Why are you sleeping on the couch without me? What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a super simple example of, hey man, first off, build a culture. We built a culture of this, but whatever it is, let's do it together. Let's do it together. That's why I committed to you. You see what I'm saying? And I can't, again, you guys might have different experiences, different things. I can't wrap my head around wanting to do things without my wife. I play video games all the time, right? At the end, when I get off and I throw the headset down because Ant died again and cost us the mission, it's like Fabian's like, yo, I heard you yelling at Ant. He sucks. And we go to bed. Like she's still invested.
First off, Twin don't say that. She know the truth.
Like I was telling her a couple weeks ago, damn, you know what? I want to get back into bowling, right? I really want to do that. She was like, yo, let me dust off my shoes. We at the alley once a week.
That's fire.
Support is
fire.
big.
Yeah,
Live life together. That's all. Live it together.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That should be the goal. That should be the mantra. That should be the mindset at all times. No question about it. Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah,
There is going to, I believe, I think, I don't want to say I feel because we can't have feelings in these conversations, right?
Oh,
so I think,
don't be messy, dog. Don't do this.
I think there's a part 2 to this because there's an association piece that we haven't factored into this conversation where when you do split apart and you go your separate paths, now the community that you once had is no longer the community, or the community changes. But
split down the middle. Right, yeah, split down the middle.
That's the thing. Like people picking and choosing sides, but that's something we got to get into.
Yeah.
We'll circle back.
There's definitely a part 2 vibe.
You know one thing I've learned about Sparring Minds is that when we say part 2, we never come back to part 2. Let's go to overtime and just take 10 minutes. Can we just do that, Payne? Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, I'm gonna just leave that comment on the screen for a little while.
No, you can take that down. We don't do fiction around here. We don't do fiction here on the Sparring Minds. Sparring Minds, listeners, you okay with us going overtime? Because I think Hightower brings up an important point of this.
I usually do.
Rare, but we'll take it. I think the thing about it is that point here is very valid. When there is that separation, there's now a custody battle of friends. You dig what I'm saying? There is now who goes where. How does this work? Right? That's so important. That's so important.
And that sucks too. And that sucks because that's a heavy conversation.
But does it need to be a heavy conversation? Does it need to be a custody of friends?
It does. It does. Because you have to start defining stuff, Chef. You have to define that stuff. You have to.
I don't know.
Because here's why. If you don't define that.
What do you mean define exactly? What do you mean by that? Define.
Of what? Because when you're together and you have decided to kind of go in a different journey, you've decided that we can't evolve together, right? Let's say you've gotten to that point and now we're splitting. Well, over the course of however months, years, decades you were together, you have combined friendship circles.
For sure.
Right? Yep. And if you did it correctly, they loved you both equally in those journeys.
Absolutely. Should be.
How you hope that there's a discussion of, you know what? You came in originally with this individual. Stay on that side of the table. Difficult discussion when love is widespread. But I think it has to default to who you came into the relationship with. Do you guys agree?
I have a hard time agreeing with that.
It shouldn't be that. That feels like the more logical way of thinking about it, right? You know what I'm saying? Like who your personal ties are to, but it's like if you built a rapport
It shouldn't
from
matter.
both sides, like it shouldn't matter. Like how do you now like just say, well, you know, I'm only going to associate with this side of it versus the other side, right? Like that's me being emotional
Yep.
and saying like I feel like I have to pick a side
Yeah.
between two people that I love, regardless of if I love one more than the other. I love both of them, right?
Mhm.
So I don't want to have to be, I don't have to feel like I gotta pick and choose between the two of them. Like, and whoever I'm closer with should at the end of the day know where my loyalty really lies. But they should never put me in a position where
You
I
have
have
to
to
choose.
decide, where
Yeah.
I have to choose. I don't want to be like that. You know what I mean? Like, God forbid if something was to ever happen in my relationship, right? You guys, I brought my lady into the circle around you guys. I would never want you guys to have to make a decision to feel like you have to pick and choose between the two of us, regardless of if your loyalty lies in me. No, no, I wouldn't want you to do that as
Mhm.
my friend. Wouldn't even want you to have to make that decision where you gotta pick and choose between two people.
Right.
I'm just saying that's just me personally.
No,
I'm just saying that's me personally.
I'm in the same boat as Maine.
I'm watching Chuck's face though, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
whether
no,
it's the wine or not, I don't know what it is, but
no,
you know what I mean?
no,
Just
but
saying.
I'm in the same boat because I feel like you said, if you love two people, right? You shouldn't have to choose
You don't just stop
who you're
loving
gonna
two people
remain
overnight.
No,
right. You
no
love
way.
both of them, right? But I will say this: if the breakup isn't amicable and one of them fucked up, you need to, like, as a friend, all right, you fucked up. This is where you fucked up.
Mhm.
And you can express your disappointment, you can express how you feel about the fuck up, but let them know you still love them and you're still their friend. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I've had situations like that where a friend introduces me to their significant other,
Mhm.
they become like a sister or a brother to me,
Mhm.
and then they break up and it's one of their faults, and I go to them like, yo, why was you doing this? What the fuck is up with that? You know better than that. Like, I still love you, but you know you was dead wrong. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. So you don't have to choose, but be a good friend. And if it's not amicable and one of them fucks up, you need to let them know.
Here's boy.
Deanna makes some interesting comments. Can we throw those? Yeah, okay.
Hold on.
All right, Danae. I mean, how much does that matter? Let's just put it out there. We have two, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on?
That's what
Like,
you say when you haven't been married. It's slightly different.
How so? Expound on that. I'd like to hear more about that.
There's more at stake when a marriage is up.
I agree. I agree with y'all. Here's the thing about it. Hold on a second. That happened to me with a couple, and I wouldn't have to choose. I knew the guy first, but he made me choose because he put me as an enemy too. I was sad, but hey, here's the thing that we're overlooking, and it's important, and it's the post breakup journey. The post breakup journey. Me and my wife were talking about this recently. 99.9% of relationships where there's a breakup, somebody didn't want them to break up. The other one did. It's very rare you see a mutual agreement of separation. Very rare, right? So when you look at it that way, the person who didn't want this breakup now has a journey that they have to take. That journey may very well and oftentimes does include, I need to get that motherfucker out of my mind. I need to try to start fresh. You with me so far? So in their starting fresh journey, guess who I become? The motherfucker that reminds you of that nigga.
Casualty
Right?
or
No, I become, hey, how are you doing? This nigga reminds me of the nigga I just dated that I'm trying to get out of my head. You see what I'm saying? We have to respect their post-breakup journey. right? I don't want to be the trigger of additional traumas as she's trying to separate from that. Even though I'm only coming in love, I'm only saying, hey, hi, love you. But I could also be a very bold reminder of that nigga.
Yep. That's where you started the show.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's important. That's
Full
important.
full circle moment. That seems like a good place to end it too.
Okay,
Yeah.
Deanna, you're right. Maybe just because I'm not married or haven't been married, maybe so. I'm just speaking from a different standpoint.
It's tough. It's tough, but you know, that's why we have Sparring Minds. That's why we have these shows on Friday night to have the difficult conversations. So yeah, we're gonna laugh and joke. We're gonna talk about Shannon fucking some chick. We're gonna do that. We're gonna have some fun. But we also gonna talk about the difficult shit in real life, right? And then hopefully we gain some perspective, we gain some knowledge. We went to overtime. That's okay too. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's real shit. That's real shit, dude. That's real shit. Yeah. All right, man. Sparring Minds listeners, we appreciate you all for sticking around.
Appreciate y'all, Deanna, Danae, this
Tori,
you know what I mean?
Okay, you know, fellas from the top of the show, you know,
like the movie my brother made. It's all love, baby. It's all love.
So, Little, we love you. We'll see
love
you next
Little.
weekend.
You know
Sparring
that, boy.
Minds, we'll catch y'all next weekend, man. We out here. Pain, get us out of here,
baby.
man.
You already know.
Don't be out there eating no dogs.